Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to look at gold. So remember 2 days ago I made a video where we were discussing the setup on the structure on Nasdaq, and I did say that as much as it has been flying, going all the way up, you need to be careful because of the area where it was approaching was very sensitive. There's a chance that it could retrace from there, and ever since we made the video, it's been moving to the downside. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure that you check it out. So for today's video, we'll be focusing on gold. So if you're new here, basically this is where I just do market analysis videos where I just go through random charts and we just discuss, or I just outline the structure and show you the steps that you need to follow when you're doing your top-down analysis, trying to search for trades. All right, so let's get started. So we always start with the highest time frame, because even if we decide to that we're going to trade on H1, we can't just go to H1 and then start executing from there. We need to check the bigger picture first so that we have an idea of where this could be going for long term before we can drill down to the smaller time frame. So let's get started. So this is the structure that we have on monthly. So what do we have here? So remember, even before I disappeared, I did mention that this level here is a very, very sensitive level, because if you look at it, it was formed here, right? And then the price from there, it dropped to the downside. It tried to approach it, then it got rejected again. It went up again. Yes, it did manage to shoot above it. I'm not sure if you can see that here. So it did manage to sort of move above it slightly. But then remember, if this is what we are seeing on monthly, and we are saying the monthly structure looks like this, yes, now you are breaking the all-time high, moving all the way to the new highs that you have never been before. But if you are failing to stay there, then what's the point? What's the point of breaking the ceiling but then end up with the bearish pin bar? Because the way the candlestick closes when the month ends, it shows us that there's a lot of sellers were trying to redeem themselves. So that's why we ended with what? A bearish pin bar. So if you check this 2 months here, the price formed bearish pin bars, which means the bears are rejecting the price. So if we are there, the bulls are saying they are breaking this high, but we end up with sellers rejecting the price, then you can see that the bulls, they are not convincing that they want to continue. Because if you break and stay there, then we can see that you are still in charge. You do have a chance to still continue pushing to the upside. But now if you break that, and then you end up leaving a bearish pin bar, so that's where we see that the bears are not fully defeated. And you can see that from there we've been moving to the downside. So that's the structure that we have on monthly. We can just conclude by saying the structure on monthly, the price is playing around the all-time highs, and it's giving us bearish pin bar, so which means there's a lot of pressure to push to the downside. It doesn't mean that the price, when you get to a smaller time frames, you should just go ahead and sell. No. So this is what we are seeing for long term. The price can still play there and it can still go up. So, but we're just saying currently with what we are seeing here and the location where we are, there's a chance that the price will still decrease or drop from where we are. So let's check what we have on weekly. So this is what we have on weekly, and if we try and put a bullish trend line, we can see that the price has been moving to the upside, and then we do have a bullish trend line there. And now that we are around the bullish trend line, and we can see clearly that the price has stayed there for a couple of weeks, and we did have a bullish pin bar around the trend line, which means, remember, a bullish trend line is the structure that is sort of controlled by the bulls, because it's a bullish trend line. So which means around that structure we expect the bulls to be the ones that are dictating, or the ones that are strong, which means that's why when the price is approaching a bullish structure or a bullish trend line, we always anticipate a reversal, because we expect the bulls to be the ones that are in charge there, directing the price back to the upside. But now let's look at this one here. So this is where we are. We had the price giving us bearish pin bar, and then the next one was just a normal candlestick, and then a bullish pin bar. So you can see that around here the battle is very strong. That's why, like, it's balanced. That's why we had 3 weeks where we were just not going anywhere. So we stayed here for about 3 weeks, right? So when we have a bullish pin bar, we are saying the structure allows the bulls to be the ones that are saying we want to do something, meaning if we were at a bullish trend line and then we have the bulls giving us a bullish pin bar, we say that there's a chance that they will push up. But when we're having a bullish pin bar, I always say this, and you don't break the range, meaning you don't go above the high of that pin bar, then it's pointless if you're only going to give us the pin bar and then the sellers come lower than your pin bar, because now they will be invalidating this. It's like this does not exist, which is what we might end up having here. Because if you look at this, we do have a pin bar there, and there is the high. The next candlestick never went above that, which means should the price move lower than this, I am afraid this trend line is gonna find it very hard to hold. It's gonna be taken out, which means this might end up, pushing the price even lower, because what we saw on monthly, we are saying there's a chance that the price might push to the downside. It might not go all the way to the downside, but with what we are having currently, there's a chance that the pressure to the downside is not yet over. So should the price move lower than this pin bar, because this pin bar was there for the bulls to try and defend their trend line and push the price up, but if they're forming a pin bar and they don't move higher than that and the sellers move lower than it, there will be a chance for the sellers to push to the downside on this time frame to at least this low. So that's what you need to look out for. So should this trend line be removed, we'll be moving towards this. Should it not hold, we'll be moving lower and lower. So that's what we have here on our weekly chart. So let's check what we have on daily. How is the structure that side? So this is what we are having on daily. So on daily, you can see that ever since we moved higher than this, even on daily, it looks like a very small tail above. So we just had that long tail above, and then that was it. The price failed to stay there. So here we had a bullish trend at the time. It has been removed, and the price has been moving to the downside, leaving areas of resistance there, areas of resistance, going back and retesting some of them. So now here we can say that we have got our support here and our resistance there, which means that because we are currently bearish on this time frame, and you can see each time the price tries to approach that resistance, you're having a bearish pin bar and then it drops again. So that's why you need to understand that, because ever since the monthly time frame, the weekly time frame, and now the daily time frame, all of them are saying there's a lot of pressure to push to the downside. So when you see the price approaching an area of resistance and then it gives you this, it's like that a resistance, like I said with the bullish trend line, a resistance, it's the zone where you expect the sellers or the bears to be the ones that are stronger and dictating the price, pushing it to the downside. So when the price is at that zone where you expect a lot of sellers to be the ones that are active there, and then it gives you a bearish pin bar, which also says that the sellers are strong. So you can see that a combination of this is suggesting that indeed the price has got a chance of moving to the downside, which is what we had there, and then the price moved to the downside. So we can say that on daily, this is our support, this is our resistance, and now we are at the resistance. It's only a matter of saying, are we going to break it, or are we going to keep on bouncing like that? So we don't have much happening here on our H4. So on our daily. So you need to understand we are now around the support, even though we are bearish, but we cannot neglect each and every valid area of support on our chart. So now let's check what we have on H4, just to see that whether this support that we are playing around, are we gonna move back, or are we gonna break it and then continue going to the downside? Because I told you that even though you on your bigger time frames, they are saying that there's a lot of pressure to push to the downside, it does not mean that when you're moving to smaller time frames, the price must drop like this. It can still play there. You can still have upper bullish trends. You can still have strong moves like this in between. But when you go back to your monthly, you find that this does not even change anything on the monthly chart. But on your H4, it's something that you cannot ignore. So this is what we have on H4. still pushing to the downside, and the lowest point we reached was this. And we, at the time when all of that was happening, we did have a bearish trend line here, which was removed. And that being the bearish trend line, this was the area of resistance at the time. And you can see that the bearish trend line and the area of resistance, both of them were removed, and they were removed by this very same guy here. So this is the support that pushed the price up and broke the key structures, being the bearish trend line and the resistance. So meaning this support is not something that you can look past. On H4, the bulls are sort of not really in control, but they are, because remember we had this support, the price pushed up, we had another support there, and it was removed, right? Now we are at another support, which is the one that accomplished a lot because it's the one that pushed up, breaking all those key structures. So what you need to do from here is that this support, remember, it's around that daily support that we had said there's a chance that the price can just play around like that. So meaning if you get confirmation here, why am I saying we need confirmation? I'm saying we need confirmation because already there's another zone here that was removed. So we cannot just give the bulls all the credit because they failed to defend this first guy here. So we are now back at this one, which is the one that initiated the whole thing by pushing up, breaking the bearish trend line, and breaking the resistance. So it has accomplished a lot. It's quite strong. So what you need to understand is that you are at this support with confirmation. You are allowed to take a buy trade, and if you are trading on H4, it means your first targets should be around TP1 should be around this H4 bearish trend line and H4 trend line. I mean H4 resistance. So should you not get any confirmation and the price drops, then you won't lose anything, because we are saying here you cannot execute without confirmation because of what? They failed to defend the first guy. So you get confirmation, there will be a chance that the price would rise to at least that bearish trend line and the resistance. So now if we were to check on H1, maybe let's say that's where you want to search for your confirmation. Even on H1, you can see when you're moving to the downside, having this, and this is the one that started this whole move pushing to the upside, which is the same thing that we saw on H4. So now we are bouncing from that. You get your confirmation. If you're trading on H1, you'll be targeting that. So we can just conclude by saying, even though the bigger guys, even though the monthly, the weekly are saying that there's a lot of pressure to push to the downside, but I did say that we can have the bigger guys saying we have a lot of pressure to push to the downside, but it does not mean we should just drop immediately when you move to your smaller time frames. So for long term, yes, we might drop a little bit, but currently there is a chance that the price is going to respect this support and then push up to at least there, or maybe break it and then still continue pushing up like that. So that's what you can expect from this one. For long term, I mean for short term trading, for holding for a couple of hours, a day or two, you need to search for buy trades there using confirmation, and you'll be targeting these guys there. So that's what you can look out for. If you don't get confirmation, then it means this will be removed. Then you continue searching for selling trades, because if we don't remove this guy, if we don't remove this support that we spoke about, if you don't remove the support, then how are you going to sell? You can't sell when the price is at the support, because this guy is exerting a pressure to the upside. So if you remove this, at least you have a chance to push to the downside. Then you can join that trend. But for now, we are saying where we are currently, there's a very high chance that we will respect that support because of what it has accomplished. There's a chance that we will respect it and push up until at least this resistance or the bearish trend line. So that's what you can expect from gold in the next couple of hours, days or so, or this week. So yeah, so if you have watched until this point and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like the video, so that each time when I make new upload, it can be suggested to you, and also the video can be suggested to more people. So we're gonna end it there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.